ॐ जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। May Brahman protect us both. May Brahman bestow upon us both the fruit of knowledge. May we both obtain the energy to acquire knowledge. May what we both study reveal the truth. May we cherish no ill will toward each other. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. So we have been studying the Brahma Upanishad. In our last class, we came practically to the end of the second mantra. And what does it say? Na tatra deva rishayaha pitaraha ishate. When a person really realizes that he is Brahman, there is nobody who can control him, who can command him, who can make him do what he doesn't want to do. There is a beautiful discussion in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in the very what we call fourth chapter. Therein, there is a discussion that if anybody doesn't please the gods, Hinduism believes in so many gods and goddesses, and if some god or goddess is displeased, then he can obstruct a person, he can destroy a person. That means, and then they give a very beautiful analogy, just as a human being, if he has got many animals, and every human being who worships gods, he is an animal, like we possess animals. And if we lose one animal, our mind will be disturbed, and we go in search of it until we find it and bring it back to our possession. Similarly, the devas become highly displeased when a person wants to think about God. Why? This person is going to realize God, he is going to become Brahman, and we cannot do anything with. So they feel very, very, very sad. Nowadays, what they call poaching, the employees, talented employees of some companies, there are what is called headhunter. In earlier days, headhunters means there are people who believed that the head should be offered to their own peculiar gods or goddesses, and then they get a great merit. This is there in many civilizations. But now headhunting means they want to poach these fellows. They kidnap from one company to the other company. If possible, say taking all their secrets on USB, and then they pay very high price, etc., etc. Now, if any company loses one of the most valuable employees, how much they feel for that. So, we feel very bad if we lose any possessions. Gods feel if they lose any human being, because we are like animals to them. So we worship them, and they want to be worshipped. We hymn them, and they want to be hymned, and they want us to be like slaves. This was the discussion. But at the end, the conclusion comes. If anybody can realize God, then the gods can do nothing to them. Because, what is the reason? Not because he becomes very powerful. That, of course, is there. But the person becomes their own self. The realized soul, he becomes Brahman, and he sees nothing but Brahman. And he manifests as Brahman, as the Indra, Chandra, Mitra, Varuna, Surya, Chandra, etc., etc. In fact, anything that exists is only that Brahman. Therefore, nobody can do anything to one's own self, real self. And that is where a lot of things become very clear to us. If somebody is what we call self-injurious, so many kinds of mental aberrations are there, where a person can slash his wrists, try to commit suicide, cut off many members of the body, etc., etc. So can a person do it? Yes, they do it. And there are so many examples are there. But how could they do that? Because we are not the body, we are not the limbs of the body. They are completely separate. So to say, separate. Our Atman is different, body is different, mind is different. So in fact, we have to sacrifice them. That sacrificing process is called renunciation. And we need not injure anything. We just develop detachment. Then everything will be all right. So here, tatra means when a person attains to that state of realization, what happens? Devaha, the gods, Rishayaha, even rishis, like our eldest family member who tries to command the whole family, or a teacher, guru, trying to command his disciple. And if you go to the Zen Buddhism, you will get a lot of this very interesting. So a Zen master, he employs some other Zen disciple. When they try to sit for meditation, if their head bends down little because of lethargy or sleep, and these masters are extraordinarily observant. They see a person is trying to doze, immediately from behind there is a whacking, and immediately this fellow sits. Once a person attains to the highest state, nobody can do anything because he has become the Atman, the very self of everybody. So therefore the Devas, the Rishis, the Pitrus, forefathers, ghosts, that means anybody else, everybody else, they have no control. That is what we have to. And then what happens? Pratibuddhaha sarva with iti. A realized soul becomes an all-knowing person. Why? Because moola karana vijnanena sarva karya vijnanam bhavati. This is another famous teaching of, especially from the Mundaka Upanishad. A disciple approached the Guru and then he asked him that by knowing one thing only, can we become all-knowing? The Guru says, yes, of course you. How can it become? Through reason, he explains. That is, if anybody knows, anybody has the knowledge of clay, anything that is made up of clay, that is being made up of clay, that is going to be made up of clay in future, this person knows everything because a product is nothing but the same as the original material, albeit with name and form and some quality. So when we realize God, in the ordinary sentences we say it is God. Then a God-knowing person becomes God. Brahmavid, Brahma eva bhavati. A knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. And the knower of Brahman becomes everything. That is to explain to us, in this universe, there is nothing but Brahman. So a knower of Brahman sees everything as Brahman, because that is the truth. There is nothing, I, you, or he, she, it, living, non-living, nothing exists except pure. And we all have come. The entire universe has come only from Brahman. And therefore everything is nothing but. Therefore, eka vijnanena sarva vijnanam bhavati. By knowing the cause, anything that proceeds out of that cause is known. Even in future, if somebody, there is a beautiful sequence to this illustrate. Once Sri Ramakrishna had a desire to eat a very, according to him, a very good sweet meat called sandesh. No doubt it is quite good, but there are, I think, better sweets than that. Anyway, so somebody brought it to him and he started chewing it, but with discrimination. Went on saying, oh mind, even this so-called desirable sweet is also made up of panchabhutas, the whole universe, our bodies, our minds, living, non-living, everything is made up of panchabhutas only, the five elements. We know the space, the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. There is nothing else. And all these five have come from Atman or Brahman. And therefore the whole universe is nothing but Atman or Brahman. But here, Sri Ramakrishna was discriminating. After all, whether it is Sandesh, Sandesh is only a what is called representation. It could be laddu, it could be cake, it could be a apple pie, it could be anything. Everything in this universe, anything, both eatable, non-eatable, good, bad, good smelling, bad smelling, everything is nothing but the manifestation of five elements. And therefore, this Sandesh is also made up of. So, there is no need for you to be specially attached to it. He said, and then the graphic description goes, he was shifting that sweet from one side of the mouth to the other side, but discriminating. And Sri Ramakrishna's discrimination is a marvelous discrimination. Once he discriminates, and that is the only time he needs to do it, and then whole life he need not do anything. Our discrimination is just the opposite. We also discriminate. You know, oh mind, this is called spiritual aspirants discrimination, Vedantic discrimination. Oh mind, everything is made up of nothing but pure Brahma. And therefore, there is no harm in exclusively eating the sweets that we prefer. This is a pure self-deception that is not going to work out. So with this, the second mantra is over. What is the essence of the second mantra? Everything is Brahman. And that idea is further continued in the third mantra also. And here, a beautiful analogy is given. Where is this blessed Brahman? Where is he to be found? Where is he means? The question is not where is God? God is everywhere. But the question is, I remember a very beautiful anecdote. And there was a prince, and his father was a king, and the king employed a very learned bishop to teach what we call catechism about Catholic faith. And then the bishop took trouble, and through questions and answers, he taught the prince, but the prince was extraordinarily intelligent person. So at the end, the bishop reported to the king, I have completed my catechism, so you can test your son. And then he took him to the king, and then the bishop himself, on behalf of the king, had posed the question. So, Your Highness, where is God? What was the teaching? The bishop was teaching to the prince, God is to be found only in Catholic religion, that too in the church. That was the catechism that he had taught. Unlike Vedanta, says Brahman is everything, Brahman is everywhere, Brahman is the only thing that exists. These people, they are fanatical people. So, the question was, where is God? What was he taught? God is only to be found not in Protestantism, not in Methodism or any other ism, not in, of course, not in Hinduism, Buddhism, but only not in any of the other sects of Christianity, but only in Catholicism. But the prince was very intelligent. And then the bishop said, if you can answer me rightly, I will give you $1. Now, the prince immediately replied, Your Holiness, if you can tell me where God is not, then I can tell you where God is. If you can tell me where God is not, I will give you $2. Because he was a prince, he can give. And exactly this is what also had happened to, if you remember, Prahlada's father asked Prahlada, where is your Narayana? And Prahlada replied, where is not Narayana? If you can point out where he is not, I will tell you where he is. So this is the teaching which says God is everywhere. Okay, that Brahman had to be realized. But what is the way? Through spiritual practice. And what is the best spiritual practice? That to meditate. What is meditation? Deep contemplation on the divine. And where is this divine to be found? And that is what in this third mantra, very crystal clearly has been enumerated in this Brahma Upanishad. But it is not only here. We get it in, for example, in Katha Upanishad, Angushta Purusho Shariro. So God, that is Brahman, that is of the size of a thumb, Purushaha. He is there in a very heart. This heart gets very special meaning, especially in Vedanta. That is why even when a person, a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, meditates upon him, there is a beautiful shloka composed by Swami Abhedananda. Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam Sada Kila Bhedatitam Ekaswarupam Prakruti Vikruti Shunyam Nityam Ananda Murtim Vimala Paramahamsam Ramakrishnam Bhajamaha. So, this Hridaya, or the cave of the heart. Let us remember this. Hridaya means heart. Heart is not, we are not talking about the physical heart. We are talking about the spiritual heart. I spoke a little bit about it, that the heart is compared many times to a cave. Sri Ramakrishna compares this heart to a drawing room. Where is God to be found? Maybe some devotee must have asked. Sri Ramakrishna was replying, you see, a landlord has got vast lands and he can be found everywhere. But then most of the time, he is to be found in the visitor's room. So if somebody wants to meet him, the most likely place where he is sure to be able to meet the landlord is the visitor's room. So what is Sri Ramakrishna talking about? This Hridaya. So this is what is called a spiritual heart, because there are three spaces are there, akashas are there. One is the external, second is called chitta akasha, the mind space. Why? Because space means emptiness. If you want to keep anything, so that place must be empty. If you want to keep anything in your table drawer, then the drawer must have sufficient space to keep small object or big object. If you want to keep a fridge or anything, or in your garage, a car, there must be empty space. Many places I have seen in the UK, the whole garage is filled with worthless things, and the cars are parked outside with a cover. I could never understand how this can. Anyway, so if you want to think, because thoughts are also objects, and if thoughts, the objects called thoughts, are to be kept in the mind, mind also must be empty. And that emptiness goes by the name of akasha, space. That is called chittakasha, external world, external space, mind space. There is another space, and that is called chidakasha. Many people get confused. Chit and chitta. Chitta is the mind. Chit is the consciousness, where consciousness can be available in its purest state. That is called Chidakasha. That is called the cave of the heart. Even devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, every day they have to sing where to get Brahman in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, in the heart, in the cave of the heart. And what is his nature? He is the light of the lights. Jyotira Jyoti Ujjvala Hridi Kandara Tumi Tama Bhanjana Har. Every day, as per service, this first hymn, Khandana Bhava Bandhana, is sung. And that Hridaya is brought prominently in this third mantra. Everything that we can imagine, our own body, mind, our own aspirations, our desires, our happiness, our unhappiness, our disappointments, everything is in this heart. So with this background, let us enter into the third mantra. Hridistha devataha sarva hridi pranaha pratisthitaha hridi pranascha jyotischa trivrut sutrancha yat mahat hridi chaitanye tishthat. Essence of this third mantra is that the heart is the space where what we call the entire world, universe, including our thoughts about God. After all, when we are thinking about God, when we are claiming and fighting, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, I am a Hindu, or I am a non-believer, or I am a skeptic, I am an agnostic, etc., etc. Everything is nothing but a thought. Every thought comes and goes. But the thought, I am a Hindu, I am a Christian, I am a skeptic, I am a agnostic, I am a atheist, etc., etc., that I am can never be doubted. But what comes after I am, that is called a thought. In fact, when we say, I see a tree in front of me, and then where is this tree? Oh, in the outside, not in my heart, not in my mind as a thought, but outside my home. Where is my home? Outside me. And then outside my home, there is a tree. And that is a very sweet mangoes yielding mango tree. These are all nothing but thoughts only. So if we ask somebody who doesn't like mangoes, then he says, they are not sweet mangoes. Why do you call them sweet? We go on differing like that. In fact, I encountered people in UK who don't like good sweet mangoes. They want a little bit sour. Oh, they are too sweet. I don't like very much. Quite a number of people have expressed it. So these are all nothing but thought. But even to think that there is something outside, that thought of the outside is also a thought. The thought that something is inside, that is all. For example, a man is sitting in his own room. And then what does he say? Where are you? I am inside my room. So that inside is a thought. Suppose that room has got 3 rooms, a kitchen, a puja room, and a bathroom, or a kitchen, etc. And somebody is in that kitchen. And then if you ask that person who is in the kitchen, where is such and such a person? He says, he is outside this room. But what is this fellow telling? Where are you? I am inside the house. Inside also, there is inside and outside. And then where is the mango tree? Oh, it is outside my house, in the backyard or front yard or on the other side of the street, whatever it is. So one is outside, one is inside. And some people, they go even further, that within the same house, there will be so many insides and outside will be. If a hall is divided into 5-6 parts, then anybody who is not in one particular room, he is outside. And all the rooms, where are they? Inside the hall. And where is the space? Outside is there no space inside? Otherwise, hall cannot even stay, cannot exist if there were to be no space. That is why space is the very first manifestation. If you want to do anything, first you create a space. Even if you want to move your finger a little bit, sufficient space must be there for the finger to be moved. So, this inside and outside, these are also thoughts. But we are so much accustomed to make what is inside is not outside. What is outside is not. Now, I am just talking because these are some of the ideas we discussed in especially Mandukya Karika. And then you go to bed. You have a dream state. Now, where is your waking state? Outside your dream state. And inside the dream, you are dreaming. You are sitting inside the house, or let us say, you are sitting in one of the rooms inside your house. And where is somebody else? He is outside. Another room means outside your room, not where you are sitting. So you are inside the room and the other person or object is outside the room. Then it can be a person or it can be an object. It doesn't really matter. And then when you come into the hall, and what do you say? All the rooms are within this house. And outside the house, there are so many other things. So you are dreaming, you are walking, and you say, I am outside. Then you enter into your house. You say, now I am in. So from where have you come? From outside. I just went outside for a walk. Then I entered into my house. Now upon waking up, where was this outside? Is it outside your waking state? Outside your house? So these thoughts, outside, inside, good, bad, happy, unhappy, God, demon, all these things, nothing but our thoughts. And where are our thoughts? Our thoughts are inside our mind. And the mind is divided into what is called, if they are ordinary thoughts, they are called within the mind. But if these thoughts are spiritual thoughts, divine thoughts, then we assign a special place. Anything that we think about God is a spiritual thought. And where do the spiritual thoughts reside? In that Chidakasha. not only in the Chittakasha, within the deep, within the Chittakasha, there is a Chidakasha. Because whatever elevates us, that is what happens. And in this, just I am mentioning, because the topic has come, so many times those who read either yogic books or especially tantric books, and in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we get many of these things. So there is something called 7 chakras. And many people, when they too much is talked about this chakra, and their head starts chakra gaya. So their head starts reeling. So there is a special coiled up power called Kundalini. Kundalini means coiled up, like a snake that has become like a coiled up object. Then it starts traveling. Then there is a special opening is the road. If the mind is only completely occupied with eating, drinking, procreating, that means purely worldly, it only moves up and down within the 3 chakras. But the moment a person looks up and says there is something much more spiritual, nobler, these are only surface things, superficial things, immediately a new path opens, and that path is called Sushumna. But if you cut open a person's body, you will not get anything like that. It is all purely imaginary. And then when a person's Kundalini starts moving up, then from as if from within one smaller room, so he goes upstairs, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, 6th floor, and then finally 7th floor or the roof, which is called Sahasrara Chakra. But these are all thoughts in the mind. That is why the definition of a chakra is a state of consciousness. In fact, everything is a state of consciousness only. If a person is completely body bound, they are called worldly state of consciousness. But if a person just gets out, I am something beyond both the gross body, but beyond the gross mind also, and that is called the travel, inside and outside. So, to make things very, very easy, something very extraordinary has been given here. That is called Hridaya. That is why Hridaya means heart. Heart means, in ordinary terms, we say this person is a person of heart. That is to say, he feels for the others, he has got love and compassion, he is sympathetic, empathetic, etc., etc. But in spiritual terminology, this is called spiritual heart. So, that is what is being described here in this. Where is the world? Of course, within this heart only. So, where there is world, the world is divided into Bhuhu, Bhuvaha and Swaha. So, where we live, that is called Bhuloka, earthly world. But some people become extraordinarily evil. They do not hesitate to cheat, to lie, to murder, to harm, mass murder. And history gives us any number of instances. This is not the first time that happened in the Second World War, but anybody who studies even a glimpse of the history, they can understand what happened. So, we are thinking about that. But there is a place where most noble thoughts, spiritual thoughts, highest thoughts are cherished. That is called Hridaya. That is why Hridaya Kamala Madhye or Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shishivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet, etc. Every deity has got a dhyana mantra, meditational mantra, and meditation has to be done only in the Hridaya. And that is being beautifully described with a few examples. That is the essence of the 3rd mantra. What is the essence? That whether you think you are a body, whether you think you are an individual soul, whether you think you are a happy person, unhappy person, whether you think different gods, goddesses exist, and different natural forces exist, or whether you even dare to think that the creator God, Saguna Brahma, or Brahman himself is existing, the whole thing is only a transformation of the heart. That is being conveyed. That is the essence of this third. With this, a few details we will enter into. The very first line says, Hridistha Sarvaha Devataha. Devataha Sarvaha. If we put it in prose order, Sarvaha Devataha. All the goddesses that were, that are, and that will be, they are all in the heart of Hinduism. Somebody had remarked, a Western had remarked, these Hindus can never be defeated, brought under control, because they can create any number of gods and gods. So recently, it may be 100 years or something back, so the Divine Mother is imagined. So she is called Santoshima, what Bengalis call Anandamayima. Here they have given Santosha, means tremendous amount of joy. Santoshima. Somebody has written and made a cinema, and then immediately millions of Hindus had become devotees of Santoshima. There are temples dedicated to Santoshima, hymns written on Santoshima, books written on Santoshima, mantras created on Santoshima. So Hindus are very good in creating. So any human being that exhibits extraordinary power, so Swami Vivekananda used to say that had Saint Francis of Assisi be born in India, he would have been made into an incarnation of God, and there would have been temples dedicated to him, and special worship will be there. Franciscaya Namaha, Idam Pushpam, Naivedyam, Samarpayami, etc. Hindus have nothing. Is it okay? There is nothing wrong, because whether you say, I salute Rama or Krishna, or I salute Saint Francis or Jesus Christ, it makes no difference. Not only that, there are so many things we have to understand. Many foreigners, they never understood Hinduism at the beginning. Even today they do not understand. Especially many Muslims do not understand. They think we are all idolaters. Even many Hindus also, they criticize Hinduism as nothing but pure idolatry. And even Swami Vivekananda criticized it in the beginning, Sri Ramakrishna himself. But gradually has been brought by the power of Sri Ramakrishna. And then what is it? A Hindu just takes a piece of metal and fashions Krishna, and then he is called an idolater. Swami Vivekananda explained, he is not worshipping a piece of stone. Hindu is quite intelligent to know a piece of stone is much worse than a human being. But it, like a photograph, it reminds us of the highest God, a thought about God. The qualities of God are made to just to remember them. We require some kind of clue or hint, like when a mathematician uses this plus, minus, etc. symbols, that he is not worshipping them. It is just to remind him what he is supposed to do. So, anything can be a representation of God, because everything is nothing but pure God only. So that is the idea. All the gods. Why did I bring the subject? Because all gods and goddesses, because if they are male, they can be female also. They are nothing but qualities we desire in anybody, any human being. We only deify them. This deifying idea has become very popular. I'll just touch upon it, because Hindus worship monkeys, Hindus worship elephant-faced God, Hindus worship what is called cows, especially cow is a sacred animal, and people never understood, never try to understand. What it really means is that whatever makes me live a better life, so far as I know, so far as I am concerned, that is called God. If I am not able to breathe and somebody supplies me oxygen, then that oxygen is God. If I am dying of thirst, water is God. If I am dying of hunger, food is God. If I am dying of cold, then heat is God. And if I am completely bound, unable to move, somebody made an iron mask. There is a novel like that, Iron Man. So completely covered and chained to one place, and this person, with great difficulty only he can move. But this is, if there is space, then the person can. So that is why space, air, fire, water, and earth means food. All these have been representations of what makes me live a a life that is worthy of living without dying, keeps me alive, keeps me happy, keeps me healthy, keeps me creative. That is called God. All the gods goddesses and Hindus have got tremendous capacity. There was a great human being called Jesus Christ, and he was made an incarnation of God by Christians. There was a great person called Buddha, and immediately the followers of Buddha made him a great person. So far as the followers of Ramakrishna are concerned, Buddha is one of the greatest manifestations of Brahman. Did he preach atheism? Absolutely no. He is talking about infinity, and he is talking about practical life, and he said, don't talk too much, so try to reform your life, become a better person. There was a great person. He had so many good qualities. He was called Rama. Later on, there was Krishna. Later on, there was Chaitanya. Later on, there was Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. They are all incarnations of God according to their respective followers. And then we had this a great person called Ramakrishna. For us, Sharada Devi, she is a God. But what is the point I am driving at? That so far as I am concerned, Ramakrishna is Brahman, Holy Mother is Brahman, Vivekananda Swami is Brahman, Jesus, Buddha, Rama, Krishna, they are all Brahman. In fact, everything is Brahman, but I see more manifestation of Brahman only in these great souls. And anybody who loves me is Brahman. My mother loved me, therefore she is Brahman. My father loved me, protected me, and helped me to be what I am now. That's why he is Brahman. My teachers, they all helped me, therefore Acharya Devo Bhava. Then so many other people that helped me are still helping me to become great in my own way, so that they are unfolding my potential divinity, helping me either by criticizing, by giving trouble, or by encouraging me, loving me in whatever way, directly or indirectly. In whatever way, they are all helping. And therefore, Atiti Devo Bhava. Everybody is none other than Brahman. So this is the idea. So let us not quarrel about. That is what makes Ramakrishna one of the greatest incarnations of God, whose teaching is, not whose philosophy, but whose teaching is, infinite is God and infinite are the ways to God. Wherever you turn, it is Brahman. Whatever direction you decided to move towards God, you will find God, provided you want God and you don't want anything else other than. So that is what is being said here. If I have an exalted idea about God, and that God is called Devata here, it means both the male and female. But as I said, not that they are men or women, but they represent qualities. If a person protects me and judges everybody exactly in the same way, he is called Father. But in spite of all one's failings, there is another person who forgives everything, overlooks everything, never remembers anything bad we have done, and is ever ready to shower infinite love. That is called Mother. So qualities, forgiveness, and then protectiveness, and giving security, nourishment, and giving up life for our sake. That is called godly. With this idea, let us explore. The rest is very easy. Hridi pranaha pratishtitaha. Pranas. Prana means all the, in Hindu lore, Vedantic lore, there is only one prana, that is called Vayu Devata. That is called also Sutratma, etc. But all this, he enters into each one of us, and then he manifests for one function of him, that pure prana, is to digest food. Another is, digest means what? Food is digested and transformed into energy, and that energy has to be carried according to the need to different parts of the body. So that is another function. And whatever is waste, poisonous, that had to be thrown out either from below or from above by vomiting or by going to a toilet, etc., or in the form of sweat. there is another function prana, and then somebody has to procreate. Then something has to be brought from within, and that is another function of the prana. And finally, when the time comes for quitting this body, the whole personality had to be thrown out because we are so much attached. Tremendous power is needed for this Sukshma Sharira, we call it Sukshma and Karana Sharira, to be separated from this body aspect. For that function is also one function of the prana. So digest, then distribute, then throw out what is unnecessary, then help the person procreate, then help the person finally when the body becomes completely worthless, useless, cannot help us anymore, to help us to get out of such an instrument until we procure another instrument. That is also another function of the prana. So prana is divided into 5 parts. There are not really 5 pranas, just like the same person can be a father, can be a mother, can be a doctor, can be a servant, can be a coach, can be a friend, like that. The same prana functioning in different capacities. The prana, vyana, udana, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. This is the Vedantic terminology. Where are all these pranas? In the heart. And how do we understand it? Because prana means tremendous power, energy. And when we are happy, our heart leaps up in joy, then tremendous energy comes up. But when we are sick, our energy goes to the rock bottom. And then we think, oh, I am suffering, and therefore I will not have energy. Not that energy is lacking, but I'm thinking I have no energy. That is why it is said, if something gives me happiness, whether it is a person or an object or an event or a book or a particular manifestation of God, that is our Ishtadevata. So, Hridi Prana, if I am happy, I will be full of energy. That is why all the energies, they are all dependent upon our thoughts, and those thoughts are where? Inside. That is called Hridi Pranaha Pratishtitaha. Hridi Pranasya Jyotisya. Then here again the word prana is used. This is called Mukhya Prana. This is what we call Hiranyagarbha. That is, the prana which is manifesting within us is only a small manifestation of Hiranyagarbha. But that which is manifesting throughout the universe, that is called Hiranyagarbha. The total prana, total energy that is available. That is what is mentioned here. Even through meditation, through different process of what is called contemplation, we have to slowly overcome. So long as I am confined with this body, I will be only confined, my prana is confined only to this body. Even in ordinary parlance, what happens, that a mother gives birth to a baby, and even before the mother conceives a baby, immediately her whole life changes. My baby is there inside. I must protect it. I must not take anything that harms. I must not do anything. I must not think negative thoughts, etc. So many do's and don'ts are there. A mother is ready to sacrifice her favorite food, activities, everything, because her whole heart is embedded, as it were, in that child. And when the child comes out, the whole Panchaprana, as we call, is fixed only upon that. But a person who feels, so if I do not eat, I suffer. If somebody doesn't eat, that person also suffers. If a disease comes to me, I suffer. If some pain comes, I suffer. So this is common, universal experience. Therefore, some people get out of their individual personality and identify themselves with the practically. Of course, it is a process that is developed through many, many lives. Slowly, they extend, first of all, from one's own self to one's own near and dear family, and then to the village, to the district, and to the country, to the other countries, to live other non-humans, etc., etc. So that is how our prana becomes extended. And that prana which is manifesting in everybody in the form of life, that is prana, that is called Hiranyagarbha. So where is this concept of Hiranyagarbha? In the heart. That is why Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam. And then Jyotischa. So we have intelligence. Where is this intelligence? Each soul is potentially divine. All the intelligence is also within us. Jyoti means intelligent. That is why when a person gets a new idea, suddenly on his head a bulb, a shining bulb is shown. That this person had obtained a new piece of it. That is called Jyoti. But each one of us have got our own potential Jyoti, light. But there are people who identify with the whole universe. That is called Jyotira Jyoti, the light of the lights, about which I referred many times. Even today, every devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, he should feel not only I am the Jyotira Jyoti within my heart, but the same God. Another name for Jyotira Jyoti is called Brahman. Another name is God. So it is God. In the Christian Bible it is said, let there be light. What do we mean by? Immediately some big electric light has come, or the sun has come, or the moon has come. No, they also have come. But what means is the capacity of intelligence has been implanted within everybody. Let there be intelligence in everybody according to their needs. And then something peculiar we notice here, very beautiful. If suppose there is an amoeba, has Hiranyagarbha or God is manifesting in the form of Jyotira Jyoti, yes. And not only that, Jyoti also. Not only Jyotira Jyoti, Jyoti also. The amoeba is aware that I have a mind, I have got some intelligence, and I am amoeba, and this is my enemy. I have to save myself from this enemy. If you observe the nature movies, every single, what is called microcosm or whatever it is, smallest creature, organism, has got sufficient intelligence, sufficient for its protection. Amoeba has got sufficient intelligence to live its life to the full. But a plant has got sufficient intelligence to live its life. A human being has got sufficient intelligence to make it. You see, recently some news has come. I'm only just conveying it, that when a person cuts down or burns a plant, it seems a huge cry comes out, painful cry, just as if it same thing happens to us. So they have recorded that one with a special type of recording. Of course, this is human understanding, but more or less this is what Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose had discovered more than 100 years back. So we think they don't have any feelings, but we know without any doubt it has been proved, especially if classical music is given, plants grow very well. If rock music is played, they shrivel and die. And if plants can die, and we can also die, practically a person becomes a zombie by hearing this kind of sounds, etc. Anyway, that is a different subject. I am not going into it. But what is said is that prana is within our buddhi, intelligence, and Jyoti, that light, not only light of light, when that light of light is reflected in our pure mind, in the buddhi, the buddhi becomes illumined. That is why the most marvelous prayer applicable to anybody in this world, irrespective of what religion they are practicing, is called Gayatri Mantra. Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya. And where is this? Hridi Chaitanya Tishtati. There are another two lines which we will talk about in our next class. Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhur Muhuhu. May Sri Ramakrishna Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda bless us all with bhakti. Jai Ramakrishna.